Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 179. So it's good to be back from Elkhart Lake. It was a great team building experience. This vlog, I got a question for you. We're going to show you an ad that we're kind of like, oh, is it too racy? Is it too edgy for Tiege? We need your opinion, which I'll show you in a second. Then we got some incredible business questions that I'm going to dive into from you. But before we get to all that, I would just like to send a big Tiege Hanley hug out to Kelley Thornton, our fearless leader and CEO. This past week, Kelley lost his father. And his father had been sick for a little while, and long story short, he, I think, lost his battle with cancer this past week. And so it's been weird, you know, around the Tiege Hanley office and just knowing Kelley. I mean, anytime you have somebody that you love or care about who loses somebody close to them, it's hard, right? It's super difficult, and you know. That sucks. Like, there's no way to shake it, you know, but the reality is that none of us, you know, get out of here alive, and at some point in your life, you're going to have to experience it and deal with it, and it's always traumatic. And it seems like, I don't know, it seems like the past like year and a half has been kind of tough. I've had a lot of people that I've known or have been in my life that have passed away or gotten sick. My good friend, one of my best friend's wife, is dealing with oral cancer. She just had her second surgery. You know, like it's literally been like 8 months. It came back. It's hard, man. If you don't have your health, like, nothing else matters. All the money, it doesn't matter, right? It's about health. And honestly, when people pass away, it really just sort of solidifies the idea that life is about relationships, and it's also so precious and so incredibly short. And so this past week, you know, feeling for Kelley, it's been hard. You know, it sucks. Like, when I got that email, man, it brought back a lot of emotions from last year, actually like a year and a half ago. My wife lost her brother, 43 years old. I probably mentioned it in the vlog. Went to bed, heart attack or aneurysm, whatever, and he didn't wake up. This past weekend, my wife and I actually went up to her brother's house to get some of his belongings. His wife, you know, that he widowed when he passed away, had a bunch of his like really like personal things, like, you know, his high school like jersey, his dad's stuff, and some of his guns that he hunted and collected guns. And so, man, that was it was tough. Going up there is hard, and then, you know, it seems like everybody's moving on and getting on with their life, which you have to do, but you know, it's hard. And for my wife, you know, her brother and her were like super freaking close, and you know, just getting that stuff, it just tears open that wound. And I don't think it ever heals. I think you deal with it, but the pain never goes away. And so, you know, then on Sunday night, you know, got a text or an email from Kelley, and he let us know that his father had passed away. And so he was up and dealing with that this past week until like Wednesday or Thursday. And, you know, it's just been bummer, right? Because death freaking sucks. And gentlemen, you gotta, I guess the one lesson or the one thing I'd like to leave you with is tell people that you love them today. Like, if you haven't told your parents, your friends, like, just tell them that you appreciate them and you love them, because you never know when you're not going to have that opportunity again. And, you know, I just don't want anybody that I love or care about not to know how I feel about them, because, you know, life's about relationships, and it was a hard week. You know, it was definitely a hard week for Kelley, and I would just like to say collectively, gentlemen, that we love you, Kelley, and I'm very sorry for your loss. So thanks, guys. I know that he appreciates your condolences and support as well. But now let's get to some happier news. What do you say? Gotta shake off it. Okay. I'm ready. I'm better. I'm back. I'm ready to rock. Gentlemen, here's the deal. Tiege Hanley, we are always trying to test and see what works in terms of creative, in terms of advertising. And recently, we posted something that was a little bit edgier for old Tiege Hanley. And really, we posted it, we sent it around, and today on our meeting, we were talking about it, like, what do you guys think? And I'm not gonna taint this I'm not going to I want your opinion. We want your opinion. I said to the team, I go, hey, what if we ask the guys, like, what do you think? We know that it's different than what we normally do, than what you would normally see from a Tiege Hanley advertisement. But, and it's not, and here's the thing, don't look at it as an advertisement. Like, they don't really pitch Tiege Hanley. It's just in there. But we want to know if the general like concept of this dude and the way that he looks and sort of the style, does it resonate with you? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it doesn't fit Tiege Hanley's brand at all and so we should not use it? You know, one of the things that So what do you think? Do you like it? Is it too edgy for Tiege, or do you think we should roll the dice and just see and create an ad or some type of collateral that is in that spirit? And so if you guys down in the comments, let us know let us know your opinion. Basically, do you like it? Do you not like it? And then why? And do you think we should develop that concept further? All right? Down in the comments, let me know. Speaking of comments, you had some incredible business questions last vlog that I'm getting to today, starting with this gem. The first question is from our friend Walid. What's up, brother? Knuckle bump. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, and thanks for the question. He says, hey, Alpha. I remember the time when Tiege hired a consulting firm to help you determine your mission. When you look back at it, do you think it was worth it? Do you think you really needed the firm to help you determine your mission, or do you have have you been better off doing it yourself? I have a hard time trusting those consulting firms because I think they're usually just beasting around and that you could do things like that on your own. Great freaking question. So, a little backstory. We hired a consulting firm to help us sort of create our messaging and a little bit of our branding and sort of feel, I guess, to help us determine, sort of like the voice of Tiege Hanley. In terms of your mission, no, I do not think that a consulting firm is needed for you to determine your mission. And for Tiege Hanley, it was sort of like they were just like kind of asking us, and then we ended up, I believe, like telling them like what our mission was, and that was that. And we could definitely do it on our own. Some of the other things though that they helped us with in terms of sort of like the spirit of Tiege Hanley and like the brand book and getting the brand book sort of started, because that's the thing. The main reason why they were hired was to help us with our brand book, so that when we can, when we do like advertising or we do anything really, we can hand them this document that basically tells them who Tiege Hanley is, what we're about, the words that we use, and the spirit of Tiege Hanley. And so it was very, very valuable. Now, was it as valuable as what they charged? I don't remember what they charged, but it was definitely helpful and it got us started. But then we brought in Cindy. And Cindy, her job, she was tasked with basically like getting that thing like perfect and really helping us develop our brand voice, or just cleaning it up a little bit better. But that being said, you got to understand that there is going to be some fluctuation, or you have to be willing to step a little bit outside of the box. But the brand book is a good guide, and it really helps the brands or the companies that you're working with or these other agencies sort of understand who you are as a company, what you're about, what your message is. But in terms of a mission, We knew what that was, but they definitely helped us do a lot of the heavy lifting, because at the time that we hired them, we didn't have a lot of people, right? We were new, but we knew that we were growing, and we knew that we wanted to be, the big boys. And so part of being with the big boys is having this document that we can give. And at the time that we started that, we really didn't have a good framework or a person that could handle that, because everybody else is handling like 10 things at once. And so it was helpful for us. Is it worth it? I said, yes. Do I think we wasted the money? No. Is it needed for you at the stage that you're in? Probably, definitely not. I would say save your money, and you can come up with a lot of that stuff yourself, like your mission statement and all that kind of stuff. But eventually, as you grow, it's definitely helpful for somebody to get all your collateral, get all the consolidation. Because one of the things that, I'm sorry, I'm ranting on this a little bit. I'm just thinking back. We had like all these different pictures and images, and there was no consistency in terms of the font that we were using, the color that we were using, the text, everything was sort of like all over the place and like a mishmash. And the agency helped us create this brand book that solidifies us and sort of squishes us down to like a small little pretty package that then we can give, and that even it was helpful for us as well. Like, that's the other part of it. It was helpful for us to understand everything, as opposed to having just a mishmash of craziness going on and everybody's like picking and choosing. PWF Rick has a great question. He says, I could be wrong, but it seems like most of Tiege's marketing and customers are based around the Menfluential YouTube channels. Do you have a contingency plan for if something happens to those channels? Say influencer channel popularity decreases or YouTube went away. This is an incredible question, and something that we've been dealing with and talking about. So when we first started, Tiege Hanley, it went like this. I did all the marketing, right? It was me. And then, as some of you know, and apparently our friend does, I also am part owners of an advertising agency called Menfluential Media. And that was started by me, my best friend Terry. He started working for me, selling advertising. It was very successful. I reached out to my buddy Antonio. I said, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And we can, try and grow this. At the time, it was like 4 years ago. And so it was just starting to get, influencer advertising was just starting to get, more mainstream, more popular. And, at the end of the day, as an influencer, you want to do what you love, which is create content and promote products and brands that you love that are incredible. The thing that sucked about being an influencer is dealing with companies that are reaching out and trying to negotiate rate. Like, you don't want to deal with that. And so it was a perfect marriage, and immediately it was successful. And then what happened is we started bringing in some additional people. And then in that time frame, now we work, I think, with like 40 influencers, or kind of like our thing, and it's all in the men's lifestyle space. But we have different types of people, not just like men's grooming and style. We also rep some car guys. We rep, just a variety of people. But the demographic for the viewer is very similar to, consistently across the board of the Menfluential Media. And so, yes, Tiege Hanley then, after me, started working with some of these other guys. And, this is really what has grown or helped grow for the first few years, Tiege Hanley. But one of the issues is exactly what you're talking about. What happens? How are you really going to grow outside of this pool of influencers? Because that's one of the things. Like, we can grow to a certain level. But then after that, in order for us to really take it next level, we need to figure some other things out. Then we hired Akin, and he was charged and tasked with figuring out paid traffic and advertising outside of the Menfluential influencer traffic and channels. And then Josh, who has been with Tiege Hanley, he was employee number 2. He has sort of evolved into now what his job is basically influencers, right? And so he has been tasked with, okay, there's the staple of Menfluential guys. We're still using them, as we were. Some people do get less effective over time. Some people think that they're more valuable than they are, and so you don't work with them. But Josh's job is to basically look for other influencers outside of the Menfluential network. And he's also been incredibly successful, and it's super exciting to work on affiliate programs and get like the affiliate side of things. And there are companies and agencies out there that basically rep a lot of other influencers outside of the Menfluential stable of guys. And so we've started doing that, and Josh is killing it, Akin is killing it. And so yes, this is a problem, because what happens, right? I get hit by a bus, right? Can Tiege Hanley sustain the growth without me? And so this is the biggest thing that we have been trying to develop is, okay, get Tiege Hanley's growth off of my back. Okay, we did that. Now we're using some other people. Now it's, okay, how do we take it away from just these guys and grow it to that next level? Because, you know, the influencers that Menfluential represents is great, right? We are awesome, and we do a great job for a lot of brands. But at the end of the day, it's still like a limited, you know, supply. They've got a limited customer base, and it's on one platform. And so how do we scale? How do we take it from just these guys to bigger? And so, incredible question, 100% right. And this is one of the biggest challenges, figuring out what that customer acquisition cost is and getting it to a low amount so that we can continue to scale and grow Tiege Hanley to where we know that it's going. And the last business question I'm going to get to, I'm sorry guys if I didn't get to yours. If you have a business question, down in the comments, start it with business question. Next week, I'm going to get to them, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this whole concept of influencers and being an influencer and how you are an influencer and what you can do in order to grow that. I think next week it's all about influence. Am I using my hands a lot this video? I'm sorry, I'm Italian. What can I say? Anyway, start it with business question. Ask your question, and next week I will get to more of them. But remember, next week is all about like influencers. So if you got an influencer question, ask it. Doesn't matter what it is. Ask it. If it's too personal, I probably won't answer it. I'll give you a general. I see these hands. I gotta keep them down. Anyway, our question comes from Kadar Awad. Great to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. What advice do you have for companies looking to ask influencers for promotion? Besides the company just having solid products, what do you think a company should do before approaching the influencer? And how much money do you think companies should offer to promotions? I'm sure this varies from influencer to influencer, but do you have any general advice? So yes, great question. You know, when you're starting out as a company, as a brand, you know, you want people talking about your product. The only way you're going to be able to sell your product is if you nail down that marketing piece of the puzzle. And the marketing, this is what I say, marketing is the most important part of the equation, even more so than just having a great product, because there are a lot of incredible products out there, but the only way you're going to know about it is if you hear about it somehow. And marketing is that critical piece of the equation. And so when you're thinking about marketing, you gotta pay attention. And that's sort of what we were talking about in the last question, you know, figuring out other marketing channels in order to grow your business. When it comes to influencers, if you're an influencer, see, there's so many people out there, there's so many different people talking about, you know, all sorts of things. And if you've got a product, there's probably somebody that could be influential in helping you get your message out there that's right, you know, for their audience. One thing I will say, if your product isn't right for that like audience or that influencer and their demographic, don't even waste your time. It's probably not going to be a fit. One of the reasons why I have been so successful in advertising in the YouTube space is because I talk about everything, and so I just sounded super Italian. Talk, Philly. Anyway, I talk about everything, right? I talk about men's lifestyle, so I can do a cooking promotion, I can do a car promotion, I can do a ball powder promotion, and it's in my sort of sweet spot. But a lot of people are not like that. They specialize and niche in one specific area. Like if you're cars, you're talking about car stuff a lot of times. But what I say is don't reach out to people that it's just not a fit. The other thing I will say is do your research. It's amazing how many emails I get, all these guys get. Terry, my partner in Menfluential, gets regarding, you know, these companies that just don't do the research about you and your brand and your company. The other thing is, you gotta ask, right? I don't want to say that you should offer like a lot of money like right away. That is definitely not what you should do. Let me give you a little snapshot. In the old days, like 2 years ago, brands were coming and paying stupid money for influencers just to talk about their product. But since then, I guess it started like 3 years ago. 3 years ago, then last year. But now, brands are able to track a lot better in terms of the ROI of the specific influencer. In the old days, 2 years ago, it was the Wild West. Like, brands were just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And so they were paying based on subscribers. Honestly, it's not necessarily about subscribers, it's about being specific in the piece of content. What I found is that being specific and really dialing and diving into a concept that relates to your product is more beneficial in terms of conversions than just like crazy views, right? And so like when you, here's another, okay, I'm gonna get more into this next week. I'm sorry, this video is probably running long. If I were to try and sell this pen, okay, great example. I could do a video about like, you know, everyday carry, right? And it would get a lot of views. It would be really cool. And I would probably sell a good amount of pens. But if I did a video about the 10 best pens in my opinion, or the 10 most alpha pens, people that are watching that video know that I'm talking about pens. It's not a surprise. And so even if the views are lower, the conversion, because the people are interested in that product and it fits with the content of that video, it's going to sell probably more pens than a video that gets a ton of views that's just like one piece of the content or one piece of information in that video, if that makes sense. And you really need to be careful because people are spending and wasting a ton of money. I know that for a fact. They're spending and wasting a ton of money on people that are not proven. You gotta test. And that's one of the, I guess, things I will say is when you reach out to an influencer, even if you have a budget, I would offer them to, you know, say who you are, say your product. You'd love to send it to them. If it meets their, you know, expectations, we do, you know, have a budget. We would love to hire you to do a promotion. The whole like, hey, if you love it, will you promote it? It doesn't happen. Like that, those days, they're long gone, to be honest. Unless you're like, hey, here's a car, something of value, it's just not really going to get anybody's attention because everybody is throwing money at influencers these days, a lot of money. And so I would say that you'd like to do it a test, try to get them to, you know, reduce their rate a little bit and just say, hey, if it works, then we can, you know, we can look at other options. But you got to test. And a lot of times these influencers are just throwing you out a rate, but they will take less. Remember, gentlemen, it's always a negotiation at the end of the day. Did that make any sense whatsoever? Anyway, next week, it's all about influencers, guys. So if you've got an influencer question, down in the comments, start it with business question, or influencer question, and we will get to that next week. And then the following week, we can talk about some other business questions, but influencers, being an influencer, hiring influencers, it's such a hot topic right now that I want to dedicate an entire vlog to that. So gentlemen, thank you so much. Once again, Kelley, we love you. Sorry for your loss. Guys, kiss the people you love, and which, actually, bye.